Hi, I'm Kate and I'm a yoga teacher in London, and thanks for coming. Today am going to be focusing on a practice that's really nice for the lower back. I've had a lot of students recently who have had lower back problems, more serious problems like herniated discs, and certainly if you've got a problem like that, it's best to go to a qualified teacher as opposed to working strictly through a video class. But just in terms of looking after the lower back in yoga practice, there's a few kind of pointers that are really good to take on. So the practice today is going to include a lot of kind of cueing to core, and perhaps for you a different way of doing more typical asanas like Trikonasana and so on. Anyway, so what you will need is well, you don't have to have it, but it would be nice if you've got a block and a belt. If you don't have a block around, you can still do this practice, but maybe get a light book. It's not ideal, but a light book or even a towel. A towel's a better idea. If you roll a towel up, you could use that to replace the block. And for a belt, pick out a regular belt in your wardrobe or go and find a scarf, and that'll pretty much do the trick as well. So we'll start with lying down on the back. And you're going to need the block to start out with as well. Place it right next to you. Again, I say, use a towel if you've got a towel around, or even a light book. Come to lying down on your back and bring your feet out right to the edge of your mat so that your knees touch one another. And we're going to start out with some breathing work, something just to come into the space and to come into the here and now. Take your shoulder blades down your back so that your sternum reaches up towards the ceiling. It's not a case of popping the chest up high, but more just of allowing the sternum to naturally lift up by drawing your shoulder blades down your back and in towards one another. Rest your hands down by your side and bring your feet right out to the edge of your mat so that your knees can relax and your inner thighs can relax inwards. You might feel, and it depends on the kind of structuring of your back, but you might feel a sense of your tailbone descending down into the ground. I know with me, I've got a real gap. I can even put my hand underneath my back, and my back is naturally arching. So pick up your tailbone. It's a sense of curling your pubic bone up towards the ceiling, and then lay down one vertebra at a time so that you feel that the back is long and can release down into the floor with gravity. It isn't a case at this stage of pulling your back down into the ground, but allowing through placement of your spine, the whole back to release and relax. Bring your elbows out to the side and place your hands on your belly so that your middle fingers touch just over your navel point, and relax yourself completely. You can let go completely. Let's look at one more part of the spine, at the neck, the cervical spine. So allow your head to stretch back. Try not to tuck your chin or lift the chin up, but let the chin be relaxed so that essentially you're looking for your forehead and your chin to be in one line. So it's always a bit difficult to know if you're doing it yourself. One of the ways to tell is if your tongue is relaxed into the back of your mouth. Usually the tongue will lift. If you've got the chin up, the tongue will push down towards the lower palate. And if you've got the chin tucked down too much, then it will lift up towards the palate. So as soon as it's in center, then your tongue will relax backwards. With your hands on your belly, take a really deep breath in, and this is something that's difficult for me to speak about and do at the same time. So as you breathe in, feel that your belly expands and broadens. Really breathe into the navel point. And as you exhale, allow your belly to fall down into gravity. Inhaling, allow the belly to expand and broaden. And as you breathe out, allow your belly to release and fall down towards your spine. And a few more times like that, inhaling, really stretch the belly wide and broad. And as you exhale, let the belly release and relax down. Again, inhaling. Inhale deeply but smoothly, so try and get it that your breath is not kind of fighting with you. And exhaling, release down. And one last time, inhaling, feel just the belly moving, nothing else. It's very calming to the nervous system. Very good if you ever suffer from insomnia to work into belly breathing. Relax your breathing for just a second. And slide your hands up onto your lowest ribs so that your middle finger touches just over the solar plexus, the space that is just beneath your lowest rib. And as you inhale, feel your rib cage expand and broaden into the palm of your hands, and feel your floating ribs lift up and broaden too. And as you exhale, feel the lower ribs release downwards and inwards towards the spine. Inhaling, feel the belly expand, the lowest ribs expand and broaden. And exhaling, release and relax as the breath moves out of you. And a few more times like that. Again, I can't necessarily demonstrate this, it's hard to speak it and do it. Just feel the ribs moving under your palms, feel your ribs broaden sideways, not necessarily looking for a movement of the ribs upwards, but more a movement of the ribs from side to side, a horizontal movement. And one more time, inhaling, feel your ribs broaden, feel the whole torso expand. And exhaling, allow your ribs to release and relax downwards. Let your breathing relax for a second again. And move your hands a little higher now, bringing your fingers to touch, the middle finger to touch just over your heart center. Of course, this is not the physical heart center, but it's the center of the place that we often refer to as the heart, right in the middle of your chest. Again, allow your elbows, allow your chest, or rather your shoulders to relax, and allow your spine to release down into the ground. And inhaling, feel your belly expand, feel your lowest ribs broaden and expand, and now feel your upper chest broaden towards your armpits. Hold the breath in for a second, and exhaling, allow your breath to release down, letting the upper chest release, the lower ribs release down, and your belly to release into gravity. A few more times, inhaling, feel your belly broaden, feel your lower ribs broaden and expand outwards. And lastly, allow your upper chest, using your breath, to broaden towards your armpits, really looking for breath in your body. And exhaling, again, allow your chest to release, allow your lower ribs to release, and allow the belly to release. And twice more, inhale deeply. Again, feeling as you inhale that there's a sense of expansion from the navel to the chest. And there's a moment of hold between the inhalation and the exhalation. It's really that bridging between the breath, that space of quietness that we want to start to sink into and develop. And again, inhaling belly and lower ribs and upper chest. Holding for that moment, allowing the breath to be calm and relaxed. Notice if your body becomes stressed out at that point, and before that point, in fact, release your breath from the chest, the lower ribs, and your belly. Allow your breathing to relax completely, so let go of any kind of control of your breath. And become aware of the natural rhythm of your breath. So without any interruption from you, without any control, feel how your body is breathing for you and feel the rhythm of your breathing as it is naturally. The body breathes all day and all night without you thinking about it. And observing. And release. And you're going to need that block that I asked you to put next to you. Move your feet in closer towards one another so that your heels are in line with your sitting bones. And it's quite helpful to take a quick look down the mat to see that the outer edges of your feet are parallel with the side of your mat, that your knees are in line with your hip bones. Now this is where it's useful to use the block, so place it between your legs. It's going to force you to really squeeze your inner thighs. You want to hug this block as if it kind of contains some secret of life. Bring yourself down so your arms are straight next to your body with your palms facing down. And again, shrug your shoulders underneath you so that your sternum lifts up towards the ceiling. Lift your pubic bone up towards the sky. You'll feel the sense of the buttock squeezing. And keeping your middle back on the ground, pull your navel down towards your spine. So the navel draws down towards the floor. And as you release, again, put one vertebra down at a time onto the ground. And relax the back completely. You should feel that the spine is now long and relaxed along the ground. I'd like you to take your navel down to the ground more actively now so that you actually are flattening your back towards the ground. And just by flattening, you should feel a sense of your pubic bone curling up. So you're not actually doing any lifting quite yet. It's more a sense of, as you pull the navel down, the sense of the buttocks and the tailbone just peeling off the ground. I want you to get the sense that you're lifting one vertebra at a time and not just coming up with a flat back. So take a deep breath in. I'm actually going to move my feet a little bit closer so I can feel my heels. I want the sense that my shin bones are almost perpendicular with the ground. Take a deep breath in at the bottom. And as you exhale, pull your navel back, lift your pubic bone up towards the ceiling. Keep lifting, sending the pubic bone high up towards the sky until you lift up that the body is in a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. You don't need to go too high. And take a breath in here. Again, inhaling, expand belly. We'll expand a little bit, lower belly, or rather lower ribs and upper chest. And as you exhale, bring the upper back down first. Bring the middle back down. And finally, each vertebra at a time, stairway to heaven, down towards your tailbone. And a few more times like that. Inhale deeply. And exhale, bring the navel down to lift the pubic bone up. Keep lifting up, keep squeezing the block, keep sending your knees away from you to raise the chest up towards the ceiling. And exhaling all the pubic bone up towards the sky, and exhaling, come all the way down. And a few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale your chest, and then the middle back, resisting down, and finally the lower back. Lovely. Keeping the block where it is, or even your rolled towel if that's what you're using. Lift your feet up so that your shin bones are parallel with the ceiling. Bring your arms out to the side and turn your palms up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, take your legs away from you. So you can go any direction. Take the legs right over, but I don't want the legs to touch the ground. And then use your obliques to draw yourself back towards center. And inhale, and exhale, twist away from you. Keep the block squeezed, and we're using the block so that your knees don't move, so that the shins stay exactly where they are. And exhale to center, squeeze into the oblique. Inhaling, I'm moving to the right-hand side. And exhaling, pull the left oblique to draw your body back. Should be quite a nice release into the back. Inhaling to the right, or left rather, if you're going in my direction. And exhale, pull the right oblique down to bring you back. And just one more set. Inhale. It looks like simple and small movements, but you really can work into the abdomen and work safely into the lower back. Again, provided you've got no major injuries. Inhale and exhale. And release your feet down. Take the block out from between your legs and place it to the side. It'll be a little while until we reach back for it. Hug your knees in towards you. And use this opportunity just to release in the lower back. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, raise your head up towards your knees. A posture called Apanasana. Apana is in Sanskrit and in Ayurvedic philosophy, is the downward movement of the body. This posture is very, very good for digestive problems like constipation. Also very good for a sense of grounding. So if you feel that your mind is frenetic, this is a great posture to do. So inhaling, lift up, hold the breath in. And when you feel you can't hold the breath in anymore, then release your head down. Keep the elbows nice and wide, keep the shoulders relaxed and your chest broad. Take a deep breath in. Bring the head up, bring the forehead towards your knees. Hold the breath in, squeeze your navel down towards your spine. And when you can't hold your breath in anymore, then release down. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Hold the breath in. release down. As a note, not very helpful to tell you this now that you've done the posture, but you can also do that with the holding the exhalation. So you can take deep breath in, and then as you bring your head up, you can hold the breath out. It's quite nice to experiment with both. Roll over to your side. Push yourself up onto all fours. Sort out your hair if you're me with short hair. And bring your hands onto the ground. So with your knees underneath your hips, a quadruped posture, and your hands underneath your shoulders. So for those of you who've done lots of yoga classes, this is a very familiar posture. But oftentimes taught with the back going into quite an arch. Not necessarily that healthy, not too bad either. But what I'm really looking for today, and seeing as we're working on the lower back, is a lot more control from the abdominal region. So bring your spine into a neutral position, something that's as close to the feeling of straight for you. Turn your toes underneath behind you, because you can't turn your toes underneath any other place. And lift your navel up towards the spine. So you might be able to see I'm moving from this position to lifting the navel up, and it's not necessarily a tucking of the tailbone under, more a real firming of the abdomen. As you inhale, send just your chest forward and stretch out the back of your neck. And as you exhale, point your toes backwards, lift your navel up even further, and let your head relax down. You're not tucking the chin either, just let it relax. Turn your toes underneath, keep the abdomen really firm, and lift and broaden your chest forward. Keeping length in the back of your neck. And exhale, point the toes back and round up towards the ceiling. This is all back bending work that we're doing. Turn the toes underneath and lift your chest forward, broaden the chest. Oftentimes I see this in class. Try and keep the back of your neck really long. And exhaling, round up. And just a few more times. Feel that this could become like a moving meditation. So if I say to you that for the next hour, you're only going to do this movement, you would be able to mentally feel quite calm about that. Lucky for you, or not. But it is that sense of marrying the breath and the movement so that as your inhalation completes, the chest is in its most full expression. And as the exhalation completes, your back is in its most full and rounded expression. Moving on, turn the toes underneath, lift and lengthen the chest forward, keeping the abdomen firm. As you exhale, point your toes back, bring your sitting bones down towards your heels, and slide your hands away from you, drawing your navel upwards. Inhale, slide both hands back under your shoulders, turn the toes underneath, lift the chest up. And exhale again, bring the sitting bones down, turn the tailbone down to the ground, draw the navel back and stretch outwards. Inhaling, lift up. Full and deep expression, keeping the abdomen lifted so you've got that sense of length in your tailbone throughout, especially here. Turn the tailbone down and stretch out. Inhaling up. And last time. And exhaling, turn the tailbone down and stretch all the way out. Extending the movement, keep your arms next to your ears. Draw your navel away from your thighs. Turn your tailbone down and use the turning down of your tailbone to bring you all the way up. Touch your palms, Urdhva Namaskar, and exhale the arms down to Pranama-asana. Touch your palms together. And we're starting in Pranama-asana. Pranama-asana is one palm against the other, also sometimes called Namaste position. And let the shoulders settle down your back. Take your tailbone down towards the ground so that your spine is long and lengthened. It's not a case of tucking, but a sense of long in the tailbone. And this allows your shoulders to release down away from your ears. Keeping your shoulders relaxed, scoop your hands forward and inwards and upwards. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward and bring your hands down towards the ground and your forehead down. This is called Ashtanga Namaskar, and it's worth my while. You can hold there, rolling over to tell you about it. Ashtanga means, Asta means 8 and Anga means the limb. So Namaskar is a salute. So the Sanskrit name of the posture is literally the 8-limbed salute. It's wonderful in in yoga and in the Sanskrit tradition to know what the names of the postures actually mean, because it really is just ancient language for very practical posture names. So you'll see in this posture, if I go back into it, that we've got 8 points on the ground, the 8 limbs. So it's 1 with my chin, 2, 3, chest, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't that cool? So take a deep breath in. Exhale, let the tailbone relax back. Keep your legs really strong as you inhale. Peel just your chest up off the ground. This is really important. We're going to work on back bends in a little while. But keep the back of your neck long as some general notes. Keep your legs really strong. Inhale again and exhale. Push into your hands. Roll backwards. Turn your tailbone down towards your heels and stretch out. Inhaling, keep your arms next to your ears and come back up to sitting. Urdhva Hastasana, Urdhva Pranamaasana, and exhale, Pranamaasana. Inhale, stretch up, Urdhva Hastasana. Roll forward, turn the tailbone down, Shashankasana. Inhale, look up. Slide through low Bhujangasana, inhaling. Exhale, reach back, Shashankasana. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Pranamaasana. A few more times. Again, feeling that you could continue this motion simply because it's a meditation on the breath. Inhale. You can also limit the breath, not in terms of kind of how long the breath is, but more in terms of how many you do. So I'll show you where that is. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, Pranamaasana. Last one, inhale up, exhale, fold forward, and this is where you can limit the breath. Hold the breath out and keep pushing the last bit of air out of you. Inhale, Bhujangasana, and exhale, Shashankasana. I lied, we're going to do sort of a half of one more. Inhale up and exhale, Pranamaasana. And this is the half of one to move into the next series. Inhale up, exhale, Shashankasana. Inhale, lift, exhaling, Ashtanga Namaskaram. Inhale, Bhujangasana, and exhale, Shashankasana, and stay there. Look up towards your fingertips. See that your middle finger is at 12 o'clock. And I'm actually going to scooch forward a little bit so that I'm on my mat completely. So middle finger at 12 o'clock. And push your first finger and your thumb down into the ground. So you get a sense of the baby side of your hand becoming really light. What I call the Botox elbow, because it's the unwrinkled side of the elbow. I want you to push the thumb into the ground and then get the Botox side of the elbow, the unwrinkled side of the elbow, to turn inwards and upwards. It's very hard work to get that right, but a lot of yoga posture is about getting one force working in the opposite direction to the other force. And we'll see that throughout the postures. So push down into the thumb and the first finger and turn your inner elbow, the Botox elbow, inwards and up towards the ceiling. Notice how that broadens your shoulder blades, allows you to lengthen your neck, and makes a sense of your shoulder girdle working for you. Inhale, come up onto all fours. Keep rolling the inner elbows forward. It's easy to do it here. Turn your toes underneath. Inhale deeply. And exhale, push into your hands to move back towards your heels. And for now, keep your knees bent. We're going to move in vinyasa, move on the breath. Inhale, resist into gravity to come down onto all fours. And exhale, stretch all the way back, lengthening the body out. Inhale up, broaden the hand. Exhale, draw the navel up towards the sky, and now begin to straighten your legs out a little bit more. Inhale down, and exhale back. Inhale up. Inhale onto your knees with resistance, and exhale, stretch back. Inhale up, still remembering that work that we did into the navel right at the beginning of class, lifting the navel in And reaching back towards your heels. And last one, inhaling down. Using the navel to resist into gravity and exhale all the way back. Inhale up. Send the inner elbows forward and reach back towards your heels and hold here. You want your feet to be hip distance apart. They can even be as wide as your mat. See what feels best for you. But ideally work hip distance apart. Push the big toe side of your feet down into the ground. Look towards your knees. And for a lot of people, the tendency is to go knock-kneed here. Roll your knees away from one another. You'll feel your legs wake up and send your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Push into the thumb and the first finger and let your head relax down towards the ground. And breathe deeply in and out a few times. Lift your kneecaps up. I'm working my thigh muscles. Lifting the navel up away from the ground, right into the crease of the groin. Let your forehead relax and release. Let your head allow some traction on your spine. It's a restorative posture, this, believe it or not. If you've got that block around or that towel and you want some real relaxation into the head, you can even place the block, if I can find mine, underneath the head, just as an added extra. You don't have to do it right now, but it's quite nice to know for your next practice, or if you do have the block around. And there's a lovely sense of relaxation in doing that. Walk your feet up towards your hands. Move your block out the way if you've had it somewhere near you. Walk right up to the top of your mat. Bring your feet to hip distance apart. So one of the most typical ways of saying that is 2 fist distance, but I reckon if you can parallel park a car, you can see how wide your feet should be. Press down into your big toe side of your feet and spread your baby toe away from your big toe. Descend into the inner edge of your feet, bend your knees and roll your inner thighs towards the front of your mat. So your inner thighs should move forward. Lift your chest up, inhale deeply. Lift your navel up away from your thighs so there's a sense of space from your thighs. And as you exhale, straighten the legs a bit and fold the forehead down. Inhale again, lifting and peeling the body away, lengthen your spine out, come right onto your fingertips. And exhale, release down. If you happen to eat before you came to the session, I pity you. This really does work into the digestive system, and I'm feeling it a little bit. And as you exhale, release the forehead down. And last one, inhale, lift. This time straighten your legs as much as you can with a sense of strength, lifting in the knees and your thighs. And exhale, fold down. Release there for a second. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side. Push into your feet, bring yourself up. Touch your palms above your head. And exhale your arms down by your side and to prayer position, Pranamasana. And release your hands down. So standing, or working rather into Tadasana. Tadasana is often called also Samasthiti, and it's standing posture. So it's one of those postures that can be sort of looked over very quickly, or just kind of stand on 2 feet and straighten your legs. And in fact, it's a beautiful posture. Oftentimes, as I said, called Samasthiti. Samas means same, and Sthiti means stability. So if you're thinking about yoga, and not just yoga as an exercise, but as a journey towards a sense of union, then for me, Samasthiti is a beautiful illustration of that. Essentially, if you think about Samas, same, so you get one thing is the same as the other same, well then those 2 things are exactly the same. So if you have a glass of orange juice and you have another glass of orange juice, well then you've got 2 glasses of orange juice, which are essentially the same thing, and that then means that you only have orange juice. It's a bit of a mundane example, and therefore there is one, there is no other kind of juice. It's a pure sense of oneness. So Samasthiti, stability and sameness, or stability and oneness, is a stableness in the state of meditation, in the state of union, which is really what all of the yoga is looking to get towards, whether that is asana or pranayama or mudra or bandha or living your life. That's what it's all about. So it's for me very, very poignant and beautiful that Tadasana, one of the kind of primary and most so-called simple postures of yoga, is called Samasthiti, the beginning of the journey towards sameness. So that was your lecture for the day. Bring your feet right towards the front of your mat. Your toenails don't need to touch the front, just somewhere near the front. Settle your feet down to the ground and get the sense that that sameness, that samash, is going to start from here. So touch your big toes and pull your baby toes away from one another. Your heels should be just very, very slightly apart. Turn your knees away from one another, and you should feel in turning your knees outwards, in rolling the knees away from one another, that your legs wake up and your tailbone naturally lengthens. What will also happen is a sense of the pubic bone going forward and the thigh bones and these thigh muscles starting to jut forward. Keeping the knees externally rotated, take the tops of the thigh bones backwards so that your inner thighs, the top of the groin, starts to move backwards. I'm asking you to do two totally different things here. To roll the inner knees away from one another, and in opposition to that, to take the top of the thigh, the kind of line that would be just by your Speedo or your underwear, to take that space backwards so that the tailbone can release and relax. Bring your arms down by your side, lift in the navel, lengthen your waist, and allow your shoulder blades to release and descend downwards. Turn your inner palms forward to open in under your armpits, and lengthen the back of your neck, and then let your hands release down. Feel a sense of standing equally on your right foot as you are on your left foot, of lifting your right shin bone equally as your left shin bone, of engaging your right kneecap as much as you are your left, of engaging your right thigh muscle as much as you are your left, of lengthening your tailbone as much as you lift your abdomen, of relaxing your rib cage down as much as you broaden across the back of your body, of making your legs strong as much as you relax your shoulders, of lifting the back of your neck long as much as you soften and relax your face. It's a posture of trying to find these opposites and then bringing them into perfect harmony and balance. And it's an entire meditation in itself. Allowing that meditation to break, touch your palms together, and working into just a few sun salutations. Take a deep breath in, and exhale your arms down by your side. Reach the arms backwards and outwards and upwards. And exhale, fold forward, drawing the navel backwards, keeping the hips up as you come down. Let your head release downwards. Inhale, lift up and lengthen, halfway position. If you can't touch the ground, don't worry about it. You can always bring your hands onto your shin bones. It's not about how far you go down, more about the form of your body. In that case, you can slide your hands up your shins. Release your fingers down and step your right leg backwards. As a modification, you can bring the knee down towards the ground if you need to. Otherwise, keep the leg straight behind you and inhale, lift up to a high lunge position. Exhale, bring your hands down to the ground and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank position and exhale Ashtanga Namaskar. And bring the chest down. Inhale low Bhujangasana and exhale Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, your arms up. And exhale the fingertips down to the ground. Step the left foot forward. Lift up to halfway position again. Exhale, if you're feeling it too much strain, bend your knees a little bit. Reach your arms out to the side. Inhale, push into the heels, turn the tailbone down to come up. And exhale. And a few more times. Inhale, you'll hear I get out of breath. It's very much a cardiovascular practice, this. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, step your right leg back. Inhale, lift up. And exhale the hands down. Keep exhaling as you step back. Inhale to plank position. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. If you're more advanced, Knees and thighs must be off the ground, legs strong. And exhale, fold back, downward facing dog. That is a more advanced posture. Step your right foot forward. In and exhale down. Step the left foot forward, lift up. And exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. And just a few more times. Inhale. Remember, you can do knees, chest, forehead, or chin rather. Inhale, low bhujangasana. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling and exhale. Step the right foot forward and exhale. Lifting up to halfway, inhale. And last fold forward, exhale. Press into your heels, reach outwards and upwards, inhale. And exhale. And release your hands down. You should feel something in your heart. You definitely should have your heart beating just a little bit. So this is the point in class where I'll ask people to gather around, because we're going to work into Trikonasana and into all the standing postures. It's not a case that we're going to have time to do every single posture today, but essentially the elements that we'll look at can be applied to any postures, any of the standing postures, and they've been enormously helpful to both myself and the clients that I've worked with, the students that I've had. So I'm going to demonstrate, and for a moment just look, don't try and do it. And I'm actually going to see if I can take my pants up a little bit so that you can really see what's going on. So I'm in a Trikonasana position, and if I relax my leg, you might be able to see what my leg's doing. Essentially, I'll point it out to you. The knee is turning inwards and pointing kind of in that direction. And if you look at the leg from the back side of the body, it's arching. It's doing like a curve. I am hyperflexible, so this is why I've got really great legs for showing you this. And not everybody is, yet still the work that I'll show you is wonderful for everybody to do. It's not just for people who are hyperflexible or hyperextend. This kind of work and this positioning of the leg done too many times, if you're practicing yoga 3 or 4 times a week or even once or twice a week, this can become a problem for the knees in the long run. So bring yourself into position. We'll work together on it. Step your right foot back behind you. See that your front heel is in line with the instep of your back foot. I would like the back edge of the foot, the baby toe side of your back foot, to be parallel with the back of your mat, or just slightly turned inwards. Bring your hands onto your hips to start out with. On the inner edge of your front foot, the big toe side of your front foot, push it down in towards the ground, so you feel your inner arch descend towards the ground. Lift up your kneecap, and now I want you to bring your finger into the top of your left thigh. Rotate your front thigh so that that finger gets a sense, it won't move much, but gets a sense that it's going to rotate up towards the ceiling. On my knee, you'll see now that the knee is now facing pretty much, I could probably work it a little bit more, towards the middle of my foot now, as opposed to the big toe side. The calf muscle's definitely woken up, and I'm for sure feeling some work into your thigh muscle. So again, descend in the inner edge of your front foot, rotate your inner thigh up towards the ceiling, and you really should feel a sense of strong and almost spontaneous work in this front leg. This leg is priority. It's number one. Give it top priority treatment. Keep that leg exactly as it is and bring your hand onto your back hip bone and specifically onto the thigh. Again, see how this thigh tends to bulge forward. Keeping this leg where it is, it's going to be a fight. This is a hip opening posture. Take this thigh bone backwards. You should notice how my hips are starting to level up and I'm starting to feel my legs working. Great. Bring your arms out to the side. Lift up in the sides of your body, and I feel that I can even lengthen a bit and work my legs even more. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, keep reaching your back hand backwards, as if you don't want to come down. And as you come down, keep rotating this inner left thigh up towards the ceiling to rest your hand onto your shin bone. Lift up to your top fingertips. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, fully draw the navel back to turn the chest from the waist, not from the chest, but from the waist. Inhale deeply, and exhale, push into the back heel to come up. Inhale, exhale your arms down by your side, step your back foot forwards, Samasthiti. Working to the other side, I'm going to turn my back to you now. It's okay, you can see it from the back. So your left foot behind you, your right foot forward. Same positioning of your feet. And I can now pull this down as well. Little wardrobe adjustment, if you don't mind. So, bring weight and descend weight into the inner edge of your front foot. Notice how the knee wants to roll inwards. Counteract that by turning the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. You'll find as you turn, and I've got much better rotation on this side, you'll find as you turn the inner right thigh up towards the ceiling that big toe side wants to escape and the inner arch of this front foot wants to escape. So push it down in opposition. So you've got two forces working in opposite to one another. There's a sense of Samasthiti. Can I get that force the same as this force? Can I get a sense of balance and a sense of sameness across the leg? Reach your arms out to the side. Take a look down at the back thigh. Can you push it back into the body? So you're working the leg. Inhale deeply, both sides of your body lifted. And exhale, resist down, coming down slowly. Rest your hand onto your shin bone. Reach up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring this underneath waist forward to rotate upwards. That's a little bit more of a final pointer. Inhale. Exhale, draw the navel back to lengthen your tailbone. Inhale, come up. And exhale your arms down. Step your back foot forward. And Samasthiti. Release your arms down. So hopefully you've managed to get a sense of what I'm talking about in those pointers. It's the same for every standing posture really, as on a very basic level. That we're going to work relatively smartly now through Utthita Parshva Konasana and Virabhadrasana B. And hopefully then you'll be able to see how those pointers fit into every other pose. So right towards the front of your mat again, arms down by your side. Working into Utthita Parshva Konasana, bring your hands to touch. Inhale. And as you exhale, step your right foot back behind you, taking a longer stance than you did before. Press into the inner edge of your front foot, rotate your inner left thigh up towards the ceiling, and take the top of the right thigh bone backwards. Inhale deeply, look out over your front fingertips. Reach out towards your back fingertips, and as you exhale, bend with resistance so that the sides of the waist stay upright. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, bend your front arm and place the forearm onto the ground, onto the thigh bone. Reach out to the side. Inhale, turn the arm from the shoulder point and reach the elbow over your eyebrow. Lift up and stretch from your back baby toe to your top fingertips. Use this bottom elbow to push the knee into the space behind you and keep turning this right thigh up towards the ceiling so you get breadth across the front of your body. Holding as you breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, come up. Exhale your arms down. Shuffle the back foot forward a bit. And inhale, step up. Other side, exhale, step the left foot back behind you. Same pointers again. Inner front foot goes down towards the ground. In our position, roll the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Push down into the outer edge of your back foot to push the left thigh bone backwards. Look out over your front fingertips. Inhale. And exhale, bend with resistance. Inhale, reach backwards. Exhale, bend your front arm, place the forearm on the thigh. Inhale, lift up. With your top arm, turn from the shoulder and extend out over your ear. Get a sense of stretching from your back baby toe to your top fingertips, keeping the shoulder blade on the rib cage, and I use that bottom elbow to push the knee into the space behind you so that you get a sense of breath. Now you'll see from the back of my body that I'm trying to move the top buttocks towards the sacrum and the bottom buttocks up towards the sacrum too. There's a sense of, I wouldn't use the word pinching, but of drawing inwards. This is really starting to strengthen into the sacral area and protect into the lower back. Inhale deeply and exhale, come up. Inhale and exhale, step forward. Hopefully I make it. Very good. And exhale your arms down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, step the right foot back. Same positioning. And exhale, ground. Inner front of your inner side of your front foot down, and roll your inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Reach backwards and take the top of the right thigh bone back. Inhale. Come onto the heel of your front foot. Now feel the power in the back leg. You'll feel that back leg should respond and should really power up. As you exhale, this back leg should become stronger and stronger and stronger as you descend into Virabhadrasana. Check to see that your knee remains over the ankle. Big toe side down, broaden across the inner left thigh. Sense of turning the inner left thigh up towards the ceiling still. Look out over your front fingertips. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, still feeling the sense of broadening the breath. And exhaling. Inhaling, you should feel your legs working. I am. Exhaling. Last one. Inhale, straighten the leg. This time exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the ground and step back, downward facing dog. And we're going to rest here for a few breaths. If you feel that you really need a rest, you can come down onto your knees and rest in Balasana or child pose. Otherwise, reaching back towards your heels, turning your inner elbows forward and pressing into the thumb and the first finger in opposition. Relax your head down towards the ground. And a few breaths in and out. This can be a wonderful sense of stretch and length into the spine. A very nice work into the lower back, so long as you keep your navel firmly up towards the ceiling and the tailbone lengthening skywards. Inhale, look up. Step or jump your feet up. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. And exhale the forehead down. Reach your arms out to the side, come up. Inhale. And exhale. And the other side. Step the left foot back behind you. Virabhadrasana. Vira is valiant. Virabhadra was a, some would say historical, others say mythical, valiant warrior in Sanskrit or in the Hindu tradition. Push into the big toe side of your front foot. Roll the inner right thigh up towards the ceiling. Descend into the baby toe side of your back foot to take the left thigh bone backwards. Reach your arms out to the side. Inhale, come up onto your heel. Keep your navel lifted and the shoulders relaxed downwards. And as you exhale, bend the front leg with resistance. Keep broadening across the inner front thigh. Keep reaching towards the back of the room so both sides of your waist lift equally. And there's a sense of being as strong in the back leg as you are in the front leg. As broad in the front leg as you are trying to be in the backward leg. And again, a sense of the buttocks moving in towards one another to support your tailbone. And 1 or 2 more breaths in and out. You should feel your heart rate is working, your breathing is a little more heavy, and yet smooth. And most important of all, that there is a sense of crystal focus on a single point beyond the length of your middle finger. Inhale, straighten the front leg, and exhale, cartwheel down towards the ground. Stepping back, downward facing dog, and hold here. Even here, push into the big toe side of your feet. Roll your inner knees away from one another and send the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And come down onto your knees. And rest back into child pose for a few breaths. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, draw your navel up towards the ceiling, up towards your spine. Turn your tailbone down and allow that to bring you up to sitting. And I mentioned that we were going to be doing some back bends, so we're going to work on a few back bends now. I often prefer not to use the term back bends because there's a sense of having to bend your back into some kind of amazing shape, which is not really that necessary for most of us. Maybe sometimes we have to bend back for someone, bend over backwards emotionally for someone, or in some kind of practical way. But in yoga, back bending is about flexibility of the spine, and it's also about strength of the front of the body. So what I'm really going to focus on is back lengthening postures that are just as wonderful and useful for the spine as some of the more advanced back bending postures. And in fact, the kind of work that we do now is vital in building yourself towards doing a healthy, more extreme back bend. So come to lie down on your belly with your legs back behind you, and I'd like you to start out first with your elbows underneath your shoulders. The tendency when you come down is to be in a position where the heels are touching. I very often see that. I'd like you to, like we've done in the standing postures and in the downward facing dog, more in downward facing dog in case, turn your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. So the top of the groin should turn up towards the ceiling and you become like knock-kneed and pigeon-toed. A lot of back bending is about strengthening the legs and the abdomen. So reach your legs away from you, really get a sense of lengthening your legs, and you'll notice the more you try and touch your toes towards the back of your mat, the more your abdomen will automatically lift up off the ground. That's really what I'm looking for, is the sense of space, so I could have a mouse crawl underneath your belly quite happily. That's the kind of space you're looking for. Push your elbows down into the ground so you can lift your chest through this Sphinx posture, and now pull your elbows back towards your body so you get to roll your chest forward. This is really working into the upper back. You should get a sense of your lower back being long, and that length is really created by the abdomen lifting up. Take a few breaths in and out, pulling your elbows back towards you. Lift and lengthen the back of the neck. I'm doing the same thing. I'm catching myself raising the chin. So lift and lengthen the back of the neck. Breathe in and out. This is, even if it's simple, very vitalizing work. And slowly release down. Slowly putting the lower belly down, the navel down, moving the elbows out of the way and the forehead down. Bring your hands back behind you with your fingers facing towards the back of your room and your palms facing down. Bring your forehead down onto the ground. I'm going to lift my head up so that you can hear me, but your forehead should be on the ground. When you reach backwards with your fingers, use the reach of your fingers to peel your shoulders away from the ground. Make your legs strong again with the heels away from one another and inner thighs up to the ceiling. Get a sense of lifting your shin bones up, lifting your knees up, and pushing your pubic bone and your hips down into the ground. Let your forehead be relaxed, and now take a moment to feel the sensation of length in the back of your neck. I really want you to hold on to that sense of length so that when you come up into the back bend, and I'm going to move this brick out the way for you, when you come into the back bend, you don't get the sense of crinking into the back of the neck. Keep it long. It is the doorway to the brain. And take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, draw the navel up and lift the chest up off the ground. It's the strong legs that are going to be able to lift you up. Inhale deeply, and exhale down. A few more like that. Inhale, and exhale, lift. Inhale as you hold, and exhale down. Last one, inhale, and exhale, lift. And now holding here 1 or 2 breaths. Keep pulling the shoulders away from you, keep reaching the hands backwards, strong legs. Heels away from one another, and release down, and rest onto one cheek. Turn your palms up, and let go. And even with those simple postures, you can stay there. You might just feel your heart beating into the ground. And release your head up off the ground, or bring your forehead onto the ground again, and this time bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And what often happens in Bhujangasana, Bhujanga is an interesting story. It's a palm of the hand. So Bhujanga is the cobra posture, but it's because the palm can be like this. So a Vaidya, an Ayurvedic doctor I was studying with in India, he said to me that, I said to him actually one day, I got quite excited because Bhu in Sanskrit means earth. Generally it's a root for earth. And Anga means a limb, so I got excited. I was like, that's amazing. It's like Bhujanga is the limb of the earth. And what would a snake be? A snake is a single limb on the earth. I still think that's a pretty cool way of looking at it. But he said, in fact, no, that Bhujanga, or Bhuja, is the palm of the hand, and the cobra is like this. So what you're looking for is a sense of the cobra raising up the body to show its hood. But if you think about it, a cobra doesn't have arms like we do. So you've got to try and use the strength of your single limb, the legs and the torso, in order to lift you up. Don't put weight in your hands too much. So forehead on the floor, and your fingertips under your shoulder points. Draw your elbows inwards and backwards so you broaden across your upper chest. Strengthen your legs so that heels away from one another, shin bones lifted, knees lifted, and pubic bone and thighs pushed down. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lift the navel from the floor and raise the chest up, but the hands should be really light. So you like that Bhujanga, that cobra lifting your chest up away from the floor. Inhale deeply, and exhale, release down. And twice more, inhale, exhale, lift the navel, peel the chest up off the ground, really working your shoulder blades down your back. Your body should be working very hard. Stretch your toes out. My tendency is to cramp mine. And exhale down. And last one. Exhaling, lift up. Inhale at the top, and you should feel your lower back working. Lengthen out the back of the neck. And let the eyes be soft in the face. And down. Rest your hands back behind you, palms up. And release onto your opposite cheek. Close your eyes, stay there. And breathe in and out just a few times. You should feel your heart beating into the ground. And the warmth of your torso as you allow it to rest into gravity. And bring your hands under your shoulders and lift up onto all fours, just walking yourself backwards to sit on your heels. and take hold of your belt. I think we've got some time to do just a simple stretch of the back of the legs. With back bends, generally you're lengthening the front of the body and tightening the back of the body. So you're using a lot of the lower back, and hamstrings come into it too. So it's said that you need to follow a back bend with a forward bend so that you can find that balance in the body again. So this is a really wonderful forward bend posture. I might just leave that as it is. Yeah. You can put up with me with one leg shorter than the other. This is a really fantastic forward bend for anyone who's got lower back problems, even if there are more serious lower back problems. And the reason is because you're not actually bending forward, like in a standing forward bend, the tendency is to bend from the hips and from the lower back area. Whereas here you're forced to have your back flat against the floor, and you therefore cannot do that. You need to really bend from the leg only. Straighten your legs out. You can modify with the legs bent if you feel that you want something a little less strenuous on the back of the leg. Place your belt. In fact, what you want to do is have your belts completely free. So this one we've got here needs to be undone. Hopefully I've done it right. Yep. There you go. So make sure your belt is free. Bring the belt over the ball of your foot. And we're working on the left leg first. And straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. If you are super flexible, you might be able to touch the big toe. But it's quite fine. I can touch my big toe, and it's absolutely fine to work with the belt too. Make sure your leg is straight. Some wonderful work you can do with the belt if you've got someone around with you. And I like to bend the knee and just lengthen the lower back out and stretch that leg back out again. Take the shoulder blades down your back so that your chest is lifted just slightly, and then relax your shoulders. Keep your right leg straight and strong. Get the sense of turning the inner thigh down towards the ground. It's hard work for me. I'm an ex-ballerina and a natural external rotator. And now very slowly pull the leg back towards you till you feel that stretch in the back of your leg. And yet you can still keep your face relaxed, and you don't feel that your hands are going into a speed wobble. That's it. Some of the important work here is, and you can actually take your left hand into the left groin, and without turning the foot, this is the trick, push the outer hip away from you so that you get a sense of your sitting bone turning towards your inner right thigh. It's a sensation of getting length into your left hand waist. And keeping that work, it's quite a tough one again, that sense of opposites working. One opposite working against the other. We're going to draw the knee inwards. And holding. It's a really very delicious stretch, which I could hold for quite a lot longer. And actually, I find it's really lovely to hold a stretch until I feel that sigh spontaneously come into my body. When I feel that I kind of automatically sigh, it's a sense of release. And bend your right leg, release your left leg, and moving to the other side. Place the belt around the ball of the right foot. One hand in the belt, one hand on one side of the belt and one on the other. And then lift the tailbone up to lengthen and straighten that leg out. See that it goes in a straight line, so I can see I'm actually lying a little bit skew on my mat. There you go. Use your belt to pull the baby toe side of your top foot down. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling by drawing your shoulder blades down your back. And now again, take hold of the belt with your left hand. Bring your right hand into the crease of your right hip. And see if you can push the outer edge of your right hip down towards your inner left heel, so that your right sitting bone draws towards your left inner thigh. Notice how my foot has gone out of alignment. Can I keep that hip working down towards the inner left leg and yet still get the toes and the foot back up to the ceiling? This is my work to do. And I think I've gotten it pretty much right. Left leg really strong. And now I can begin to very gently, with my breath, draw the leg backwards. Push your heel up towards the ceiling just a little bit. In the side of your front foot, or your top foot rather, goes up towards the sky. as if the ceiling could be touching your foot. You can even work with your left leg against a wall, so you can push the left big toe into a wall beneath you. Something you can practice in your own personal practice, sans video. And a few breaths in and out. And again, I like to wait for that little relaxed sigh. A sign of the body's taken some goodness and enjoyment from the stretch and the posture. And there it is. Take as long as you need to. I'm going to release my leg down, bend the left leg, release the belt out, and relax the belt down to the side. Just release it. Lie down flat on the ground, and a few options here for relaxation. You're now moving into a Shavasana. Shoulder blades again down the back so that the sternum lifts skyward. Bring the feet right out to the edge of your mat and touch your knees together. And as you've started, so the circle completes, bring the hands onto your lower belly. And just become, without any control, become aware of the spontaneous and natural inspiration and exhalation of your body. And even beyond the time when this video ends, when the stop button comes into effect and you don't hear me anymore, you're welcome to lie here for 10 minutes even. Very relaxing and very calming.